この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am back for more Great Pretender. We watched all 3 episodes of the remaining episodes of Case Number 1 last week, and I have no regrets. I have absolutely no regrets. We watched Makoto Edamura and the crew of Laurent and Abby, along with some new additions in one Cynthia, absolutely wallop Eddie Casano's whole crime organization with a double whammy super heist involving a bunch of fake FBI agents, a couple of real cops, a big fucking drug lab, and the befriending of one Salazar. It was absolutely excellent. It had the wool right over my eyes right up until the very end, and it was a blast to try to figure out what was going on and then watch the actual reveals occur. I continue to be pretty fascinated and enthralled by this show. I'm enjoying the crap out of it, and we are moving on to case number 2. This is a bit of an interesting situation because this isn't like a direct continuation immediately after the series of events, although there may be stuff like that, I don't really know. But we've got separate cases here and some period of time in between them where all our characters go off and do their own things and enjoy their hard-earned millions of dollars, which they can fuck around with and totally enjoy. Although Edamura doesn't have any of those because he waltzed into a Japanese police station and plopped him on the counter, which they're definitely going to take all of that money and distribute it directly to all the people that he influenced with his crimes beforehand, for sure. Definitely not just going to take that money. No chance. No chance that those cops are just going to be like, well, shit, my kid's tuition is paid for, and also I'm buying a new house. Let's fucking go. But he tried to do it good, and he's still a naive kid who's gone through just this one big circumstance. He's still that character that we met and really came to understand in episode 2. So my first curiosity and my first question about case 2 is, what's the time frame? How long have we had in between? Has it been a number of months, a couple of years? What has Edamura been doing in the meantime? Because I feel like Laurent and Abby aren't going to change much, and neither is Cynthia over that period of time. They're pretty set characters. They know what's up. They know what they're doing. They know how they are. They're doing this crime thing. But how will Edamura have changed? What will he have been up to for these last months or years? And how will that affect the way that he acts and the way that he interacts with them? Because I assume that this is going to start off to some extent with a regathering of the team and a pitch of a new heist. The other really interesting thing and kind of curiosity to me is that now Edamura Makoto is kind of part of the squad. He's, in a weird way, sort of achieved his first big case, and I get the feeling that while there might be some fuckery and Laurent is not the type to trust everyone with every part of the plan, Edamura will at least be brought in to some extent on parts of the plan as it unfolds. So we won't have the same kind of naive outsider perspective on this heist squad that we did in case 1. And that's a big shift. That's really curious to me because that was a huge part of what allowed case 1 to be so interesting and enthralling, was the belief in the idea that like Laurent and Abby are better than Edamura at this, and Edamura is our point of view character, so we don't get a full scope of what the heist really consists of until it is all revealed in the final episode to him. Now, if we bring him in from the get-go, how will that alter the way that the story plays out? How will that alter the way that like the reveals occur? Because being part and parcel to the people creating the mystery is a very different circumstance. It's just super different. And then the third question is, this is case number 3. It's titled Singapore Sky. I know that that's the title of the case. I don't know what that means. I do wonder if it has to do with the planes that we see in the OP, because there are elements of the OP that clearly like came about and we saw were representative of case number 1. So I assume that the OP is made up of a bunch of things that are all like different cases. So I'm wondering if sky, planes, yeah, but what is that even gonna be? Because they're not like military planes. We're not pulling a heist where we try to sell a foreign military on fighter jets that we don't actually have. They're just fucking like Cessnas. So I don't know what that's about, and I'm really excited to find out. I'm deeply hoping that there's going to be some more of that really juicy character development, because the way that that played out, the way that that unfolded for learning about Edamura Makoto, learning about some of these characters, and I'm just hoping that we learn more about them and have more to talk about and discuss regarding these people, because the human element here is a really key and interesting element. These people who are they actively put themselves in deeply dangerous situations in order to rake in big bucks. It's really fascinating. And there's, I think, a lot that can be extrapolated from that kind of a story and that kind of a hero, if we consider them heroes, to the way that we interact with other people and the way that we live our own lives. So I'm hoping that there's going to be more of that, but we'll have to just wait and see. So, here we are. We're watching I guess it's episode 6, but it's also Singapore Sky episode 1, so it's its own thing. And I've got it up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions of this reaction as usual. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there in the corner, linked down there in the description, and a timer-based version that will be up on YouTube. If you'd like to do a syncy thing and sync up your own copy of these episodes with the timer-based version, you are more than welcome to do that. Just get your copy ready, because the PiP timer will be coming at you soon, and I'll say it here at the beginning and I'll say it late at the end. If you want the next week's episode or episodes a little bit early, you can grab those on the Patreon linked in the description. It also helps a ton. I don't make any money off of YouTube ad revenue because I don't like ads, and you don't like ads, and nobody likes ads. So all of the way that I survive and am able to buy food and live and things is by people going to my Patreon and subscribing to that. So check that out if you'd like to, and if you have the funds to spare, it's super duper appreciated. And a huge thank you to all of those of you who are already patrons. You da bomb. Other than that, likes and comments and subscribes and things are always good, but it doesn't really matter. Let's get into the episode. So again, episode 6 is up and ready to go. Beep beep timer is coming at you. Let's get into it. Immediately planes. Okay. It seems to be breaking. Plane is broken. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. We are right in it. Oh, that's super pretty. Just water? Abby, the engine. Abby, the engine. Abby. Well, that's one way to start. Am I lagging? I'm lagging. Weird. That's not normal. Why is that happening? My encoding isn't overloaded. Sorry, I'm just gonna check some. Okay, I'm not lagging anymore. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm only at 60% CPU utilization. Some of this has to do with the GPU being different. Those who don't know, my graphics card fully died on Monday, and so I've replaced it with a much cheaper card. Weird. Okay, well, if I get all laggy during the thing, my audio should be fine, and that's what matters most, so we will deal. A, Singapore Sky. Sorry to talk through the OP, but we've seen it before. Florida, USA. Ooh, we dirt biking. Fuck. Shit. I love these backgrounds. Wow, we got action. We got movement. Oh my god. Is that Abby? That was CG. Yeah. Looks really good. Of course. Of course, Abby. I'm fucking lagging again. I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. Intends to go straight. Okay, so he ended up in jail. Hmm. Cars? Cars are cool. Okay. Uh-huh. Two very different paths open up in front of you, huh? Business, indeed. All right. So he's getting out. Oh, his hair's grown out too. Yep, that's my stuff. Oh, little cute kid being cute. Bah. Hmm. Oh, hell yeah. What is it gonna be? We don't get to know. Ooh. Being normal, huh? The farmer. Wow, that's a cool shot. Okay, and being a mechanic. Eh. Okay. It's a good life. What's gonna change it? So this gives a pretty positive look at the prison system in Japan. I wonder if this guy's actually a Laurent. Yo, what? Oh, shit. Sweet, sweet. That's rad as hell. Hell yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll turn on a plane. Sweet. Those clouds are dope. I doubt that, my man. Genki day. Cut to Laurent is here. All right, Dallas, Texas. Who dis? Oh, great. Oh, W. Yeah. Yeah, but you're an at-will employee. Shit. Yeah, if you bounce, dude, get the fuck out. Samamiro? No, you don't get to say that. That's some Soriori shit. Oh, huh? Oh. Oh. Let's go, Cynthia. Let's fuck this guy over. Jennifer. That's true. No, I'm rich on my own, bitch. Not if you rig the cards. Oh. Oh. Anything. Uh-oh. 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 Yo, Abby took some juice. All right, hi. Hi, Laurent. What's going on here? They're gonna throw him in the ring or some shit. Okay. Sweet. I mean, yeah. Perfect. I mean, she's small. No. What up, Abby? That's some bullshit. That's some actual bullshit. All right, well, let's kick your ass. Oh, we don't even get to see the fight? Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Although I think Abby could just do it, too. Uh-huh. You and Laurent, eh? No, but there's a fucking different thing going on here. There's something else, like, they're scamming him, too. Danny? God, Cynthia's voice is so great. I'm flapping your lip. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. And it's a metaphor for your life. Put all the little things in order. Yeah, but he still hasn't flown. Ooh. Huh? The dirt bike betting. Hmm. Is there now? Is it gonna be by accident? There's no way. You gotta get out there in the real world. Okay, there's his name. He's some kind of fucking legend. Takes a sip, it's just water. Hi! Yeah, it's not water. Chibi chibi, yo. Yeah. Right. Okay, huge difference. Because before you'd been like, my English is perfect. Because he thinks he can win big too. Oh my god. Indeed. Abby's gonna take a fall. Hey, Abby. What's up? Hi. Sweet. Abby's taking that fall, dude. Oh, we actually get to see it this time. That's great. Oh, no. Oh, my money. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. She's actually a fighter. She's going Brad Pitt. Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh. Oh, God, my ear. Ow, fuck. Okay, there we go. Get the fuck away from me. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. Woo! What rules? Yeah. This is an underground fight pit, fam. What script? We don't script these. Ooh. Oh, wow. Woof. Woof. The picture, too. Shouldn't have done that to Chris. A rehearsal? Different kind of betting, eh? Yes, you are. Woo! Pretty backgrounds. I mean, they always are, but... Who is this? Okay, it's just a child. Oh, hi, Chris. Full Robin Hooding. Full fucking Robin Hooding, man. From your old friend in London. Oh, boy. Yo, Cynthia. Oh, that background's dope. I mean, they all are, but still. Yeah, now he's the mechanic of the whole squad. And it's gonna explode. Clunk. Laurent. Fuck! Ah. Hello. Oh. Not here. What? No, Hawaii. No, no. Oh. Tell me you're not actually gonna call it that. Not quite, but maybe even more so, honestly. Gotcha in one. Who? Huh. Yep. Pay out, pay out. Ah. Okay. Okay, Clark and Sam Ibrahim. All right, Saudi oil princes. Mm-hmm. You put yourself there, though. Okay, right. Lone wolves, lone wolves. Okay. Okay. That's a lot of money. You just have to be the mechanic. No chance. No chance that you're just gonna be the mechanic. Ah, there we go. There we go, little buddy. I'm a good mechanic. Grr. You're coming with me. Yeah, and that takes us to the beginning. Woo! If my plane explodes, I'm going to kill you. Oh, okay, great. You're getting in. You're pushing it too hard. I'll admit the CG planes look great. They look fine. I'm looking forward to this. Same with the CG backgrounds that they're using for these big background animated shots. Oh. Uh. Uh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah. Might want to eject. No. Zero chance. Yeah. Still an idiot. Okay. Then die. That could be arranged. Okay, well they're gonna just say they're fine. Terrified, but fine. Hey. Asshole. Oh, he just fell off. Okay. So, we're gonna fix some races, huh? That's a dangerous game. In Singapore to scam Saudi oil princes? That's so far beyond a dangerous game, y'all. That's terrifying. It is very funny that he buys in completely whenever anybody's like, "You're really good at this, kid." He's just like, "I am the best at this that there has ever been." 2 months to become an ace plane mechanic. No. He gave it an honest shot though. I really like the moment with the capsule toy though. Like all his big dreams going away and becoming normalized. It's really cool. Boom. Down to 51. I don't know why I said that. That's the end of the video. Okay. So, there goes episode 1. We start in a great in media res with the big explosion and him being just miserable in this plane. It's lovely. And then we bring it back. Okay, so Abby being brutal on the course is actually, it's really cool. I really dig the way that these backgrounds look through here for creating the sense of speed and stuff. And then there's some great CG blending stuff going on. So obviously no, the bike doesn't look CG to me. No, it does. I can't tell. I actually can't tell. No, I don't think so. I'm a little bit uncertain whether these cuts are CG or like rotoed or what's going on here. I think they might just be animated, which is really quite fascinating and quite good. Getting the cool action sequences are great, and then cut from crazy action to the absolute opposite. You are in prison, boy. Makoto Edamura, by his own choice, going to jail. And he's been here for a little over a year, I think, right? So you get referred to a job, and I wonder if it's actually all. I think the implication is that it's all been Laurent all through, right? Getting him that job as a mechanic, so that because he knows that he wants to go straight and narrow. Ooh, and also sending another con man who he knows is a con man to give him the other option. Big air quotes, other option. Let's do business abroad, Edamura. No thanks. Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna go straight and narrow, and off he walks. So we see little kids. He goes and he prays. He does good things, paying your debt to society. Wonderful, wonderful. Check the new capsule machine out. We don't see what the capsule machine is. We only see what he gets a little bit later. And he looks at it and he sighs as he sips his tea in his tiny little apartment, trying to be a normal guy. And what he ends up with is not some legendary hero or heroic con man. It's a glum farmer, the core base of society. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. Nothing wrong with being a farmer or being someone normal, just doing an ordinary job and helping out and being a part of civilization and doing hard everyday work. And it's what he ends up talking about over the next couple of minutes in the episode as well. But it's also symbolically, it's the total opposite of what he wants. It's the opposite, and it's the death of his dream, because his dream is to be great. And it's resonant in a way, because I think every kid dreams of greatness, dreams of achieving something amazing and extraordinary. And while Edamura Makoto has for his entire life taken shortcuts to try to get there, he still holds on to that dream within him, that dream of being someone historically significant or potent or amazing, right? And so this is kind of an affront to that. It's a new ideal. It's a new thing to look at, and it is a valid and valuable ideal to look at and idolize the simple farmer, right? The simple person who just does the nice thing, right? Goes and puts in a hard day's work, comes home and feels comfortable that they've accomplished something during their day. That's a great life. It's a really good way to exist. But there's a sacrifice implicit in it, and that sacrifice is the sacrifice of your impossible goal for the simplest thing, right? And I think that in the real world, in reality, this is a process that we all have to go through for the most part, although there are people who get extraordinarily lucky. And I think that a huge part of that is luck. And their music career blows the fuck up, or they get a modeling shoot done and their pictures end up in a big magazine and suddenly they have a career and they're just made, right? They just achieve immediately. Not to knock those kinds of people, there are also a lot of those kinds of people who put in a ton of effort and a ton of work to make those things happen. But I think for most of us, finding some happy medium in between is still a process of oscillating between the two extremes and finding a self that we can resonate with and also be comfortable with and happy with, that is someone who can like give up on the great dream for the achievable dream. That's a really sad process in a way, because I think when you grow up being told you can be whatever you want to be, which is a great thing to be told by your parents, and it's what Adamura's mom in many ways told him. When you grow up being told you can be whatever you want to be, well, you aim really, really high, and only like not that many people can achieve the world, can achieve everything. Not everybody is going to be a NASA astronaut. Not everybody's going to be the first man on the moon. Not everybody's going to have their music career blow up. But you can see that by the number of people trying to make it with their music careers on SoundCloud and TikTok and Spotify, and putting their shit out there and getting nothing out of it. And that's sad and that's hard. And making videos, making YouTube stuff is a similar thing. There are a lot of reactors out there who don't blow up, and I see them, and I see me, and I see the ones who are way beyond me in terms of their following and stuff, and figuring out the difference between them is difficult, and it's interesting. And sometimes I think it's luck, and sometimes I think it's not luck. There is a combination of both, but this scene resonates with me in a pretty cool way, because it's Edamura Makoto coming out of prison and looking at the life in front of him, which is emblematic. This capsule toy is a symbol of it. If in season 1 or in case 1, he's thinking, I'm going to be the greatest con man in the entire world, we meet a much more humble Edamura Makoto, still quite naive, and not somebody that I would call humble as a whole, but compared to his previous self, extremely humble. A much more humble Edamura Makoto looking at an infinite future, a total future of being that guy, being that dude, doing good work, doing necessary work, but not achieving the dreams that he holds, right? And that's a sad thing to contemplate. That's a scary thing to contemplate, because I think you have to keep aiming high. There's no happiness in just being okay with being mediocre. Not that being a farmer or whatever is necessarily mediocre, and I don't want to put that out there. Neither would I say that the people who make our society run by going to their workaday jobs and working 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 or whatever, and just putting in hours making things happen, in no way are those people like worse. They're necessary, ultra necessary, super important. But maybe to themselves, that's not the dream that they're going for. So I think it's a difference between like being the guy who works shift jobs, or girl or whoever who works shift jobs because you've got another goal that you're working on and this is to pay rent, versus the person who's just okay working at McDonald's for the rest of their life. There's a huge difference between those two, and Edamura hasn't figured out where he stands on that spectrum, and I think that's a really interesting moment. So we hear him talking to Laurent in his mind and holding on to this little thing. I'll have to turn down your invitation. Prison changed a lot of things for me. I just want a normal thing going on. How I think, how I live, and so I'm going to work. And he does. He goes in, gets mechanicking, and he talks over it. This is something valuable. Nobody deserves to be deceived is one element of it. And that's an important element of it. It's the moral element. It's the... And I think it's true. And it's one of the only things in this episode that I straight up wrote down, because I think it's noteworthy as a change in his perspective. Because we talked pretty hard about who Edamura Makoto became after he was himself betrayed, right? That betrayal of himself destroyed his ability to see justice in the world, and destroyed his naive self and shattered him into somebody who looked at everyone as a mark and basically no one as deserving of truth and honesty and justice. And so a world where it didn't matter if he was a liar and a cheat and a con because everyone else is too. It doesn't fucking matter. So this is a huge internal shift for him in a very, very much in a good direction. But what if there are people who deserve to be deceived? And I think that in a large part, that is a thesis statement of this episode, that there are people who deserve to be deceived. And one of them is Danny, who we see a little bit later. Now, does he deserve to be deceived, or does just deserve to be walloped and get his comeuppance, some kind of a vigilante justice in terms of losing all his money because he's a total asshole, a sexual predator, and someone who harasses women at work and then dismisses them and terminates them illegally because they won't fuck him? Yeah, no, he's a scum. He's an absolute scumbag. So it flies in the face of nobody deserves to be deceived, because we're sitting here like, well, the law can't deal with this guy because he's right that his lawyers would just obliterate Chris in a court of law, unless she managed to get a very hardcore pro bono lawyer who is seeking out this kind of sexual harassment charges and really pursuing them. And there are a few people like that in the world, who are desperately trying to take down evil from doing what they can, but there are very few. So nobody deserves to be deceived versus a clear case of somebody who deserves some kind of comeuppance. Because sitting here, I'm like, man, I want this dude to fucking get it, right? God, it would be great if this guy got whomped. That would be lovely. So there's this sort of a thing here. There's a bit of a contrast here. Edamura Makoto is no longer just completely naive, being led around by the nose by Laurent and people. He's trying to navigate his way through a moral landscape and trying to do it in a way that makes sense because he cares now, right? Previously in case one, he did not care, but he's still a moral being. He's still a human. And so that led into the whole Salazar thing and the choices that he made around Salazar and trying to get Salazar's freedom, which is really interesting in its own right, right? But now we have a character who is trying to hold himself to a higher moral standard, but is still tempted by wealth and the idea of the conquering samurai, the great con man, right? He's still very much tempted by that idea, by that dream. It sounds so great to him. And yet he's trying to be a better person. He's learning the value of the hard day's work, but he also, there's the contrast and the other side of that story, which is that, man, there are people who deserve to be deceived. So this is really fucking interesting to me. So waking up early each day, throwing yourself into honest work, doing the work, jumping in the bath, straight to bed, simple life, simple stuff to do. And sort of moving up in the food chain of mechanics, although potentially doing so not by his own merits, but because this is all a thing, right? Very interesting, I think. I think there's some great setup here for this to play out in an interesting way. And we see a bit of that here. We've got this older guy with his own dreams. He loves the planes, and I believe him completely on all of this. Although, of course, we know that he's working with Laurent in many ways, but I believe him completely on his emotional moments and his love of the planes and love of flying and his speaking about being high flying and completely free and all of that stuff is potent. It's potent stuff. And he's got it locked down, right? Doing the planes and being a mechanic for the planes is what he loves doing. He loves watching the planes go, and he probably loves flying in them too. But he's got this other thing. He's running an auto repair shop because it, quote unquote, keeps food on the table. So he's got that balance locked in. And you kind of have to, as an older guy, although a lot of people don't, and it's hard to in the current economy. It's very difficult to make that kind of thing work. Where you can simultaneously pursue your dreams in a way that's fulfilling and fill the table with food at the same time. Finding that balance is near impossible for a lot of people. But he's got it locked down. He's got it figured out. He's got the planes. He's got that as part of his thing that he does, but it's not a business that he can run and make enough money off of. So he runs the auto repair shop, and he's fine with that. He's good with that. He's chilling. Although he is also an alcoholic who drinks all the time. So maybe he's not super fine with that and would love to be doing planes all day, every day. Who knows? Something we can read into the character. I'd prefer to read it as he's just an alcoholic because he's an alcoholic, and that's part of his character, and that his love of the prop planes is something that he's able to maintain with the auto shop going as well. And I think that's great. Okay, so it's a finely tuned machine. Yeah, tell everyone I wish them well, and this shit. So, look. This guy's a fuck, right? There's not much else to it, but this is a hard typical fuck. I wonder if he's intentionally modeled after Donald Trump. I don't know that he is necessarily, but it seems like he might be. Regardless, fat American white guy who tries to rape people of color in his business and then fires them when they don't. That's a thing. That's a hard thing, dude. That's some shit. And I think that this episode does a really good job of demonstrating that in a situation like this, there may be absolutely no recourse, or you might feel that there is no recourse, which is the same thing, right? The difference between having no options to deal with somebody in a position of power and feeling like you have no options to deal with somebody in a position of power there's almost no difference. Because if you feel like you have no options, you won't pursue them regardless of whether you could. She could take this guy to court, and that scandal could ruin him regardless of what his lawyers do, regardless of whether it goes through in court, and it's possible. But she's got a kid to deal with and can't afford those legal fees because she doesn't have a fucking job anymore. And if she does that, the fear of never getting hired anywhere else is huge. So what's her option? It doesn't exist. So this is a pretty, like, I don't want to say beautiful because it sucks, but it's pretty beautifully illustrated in a very concise span of time within the episode, just how rough and fucked up this situation is. Your evaluations say you're a good and hard worker. Guess what? You're an at-will employee in the United States. You can get let go. As far as I know, Texas is an at-will state. I live in California. California is an at-will state. What that means is that an employer can fire you for no reason whenever the hell they want. And you can claim illegal termination. You can claim that they're firing you because I refused to deal with sexual harassment. I blah, blah, blah. Immediately you start the legal process that you're still worried about, right? But also, they can just say, no, we fired you because you came in late to work once, and we don't want you anymore. Or we fired you because we can't afford to pay you. Sorry. Bye-bye. Doesn't matter. They can just let you go. So it's very bad news, bears, guys. It's not a good thing. And of course, it gets argued for in political areas because it's better for businesses. Small businesses need to be able to fire their employees whenever they want to. Yay! Woo! It's all about the small business. It's not. It's sucky. It's really shit. Yeah, too bad I'm letting you go anyway. Get wrecked. Is it because I refused you? This is because I turned you down. What? It's supposed to be a joke? You make me fucking limp, he says. All right, fucking asshole. Oh yeah, also I'm deducting all this time from your paycheck. You don't even get your last paycheck get destroyed. Yay. Woohoo. Wee-hee, woo, yay. Okay, so, really awful. And then we meet Cynthia. I love Cynthia. God, she's wonderful. Also, her voice is fantastic. I know where the real action is. Here's this underground club you can go to. Ooh, Abigail Jones. Whoa, she's really cool. Go by the script. It's all scripted. Abby wins, yada yada. And of course, he's going to pull all his money out and put it on a big bet because he can, right? He's like, oh my God, I have to take as much advantage of the cash cow as I possibly can. Milk the cash cow until it's absolutely dry, smack the golden goose until it stops laying golden eggs. Welcome to the American way. America, fuck yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty great scam to prey upon the extortive impulses of the businessmen that they're dealing with. I think it's fantastic. It's wonderful. Okay. Um I like this speech by Mr. Plains and stuff. Every single element is what matters it matters a lot. Don't go forgetting it. And he believes it. And I don't know. It's not explicitly stated in the episode, but I feel a metaphor there, right? Having all the little pieces in alignment, having in the plane is necessary to make the plane go. But you can use that as a metaphor for life and a metaphor for a personality and for a person. Having all your little pieces all in order, your routines and your schedules and your ways of being and your ways of thinking about all the little things. Having those all in order is absolutely huge for moving forward in a direction that you need to go and for ascending. If you are trying to achieve some goal, focusing on the individual processes that make up your life is going to be the thing that gets you closer to that goal. In almost every case, it's those processes that absolutely matter. And just looking at the goal and trying to make steps toward it in a haphazard way will sometimes allow you to tumble into success, sometimes. But if you actually want to consistently move toward the goals that you are moving toward, having the processes, the individual things, and the internal psychological mental reasons to have those things the way that they are, having all of them in order is everything. For me personally, like ironing out my sleep schedule is immense for being able to continue to do what I need to do. And I'll talk about this in one context, which is that over the last 7 months or so, I've been going to the gym and I've been seriously focused on getting my three big lifts up, which are the powerlifting lifts, squat, bench, and deadlift. This is just for me. I don't compete in powerlifting. I probably never will compete in powerlifting. I'm not super interested in it. I'm interested in being stronger and putting on size and muscle and feeling better and living longer and having stronger bones and things like that. And just being more resilient, and also looking good naked is kind of fun, right? But the prime goal and the thing that I use to estimate my progress is scale weight and the amount of weight that I lift on the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And the things that make that happen are having my training down and having a process for it, having my eating down and having a process for it, having my sleep down and having a process for it, and having my maintenance work, my stretching and my in-between stuff and my foam rolling down and having a process for it. Putting all of those things in order and then knowing the reasons behind why they are all in order is the only thing that pushes me further toward those goals. And as I've had those things lined up over the last months, and it's fluctuated, and I've had weeks and even a span of like multiple weeks in a row where I haven't had it all in order. I've been kind of haphazard with it, but when I get it all lined together, man, the weight goes up and my ability to lift it goes up and my strength goes up and my size goes up and my overall feeling of accomplishment improves immensely. So that's one element, and right, that's a very specific, very measurable goal that I have, and I am moving toward it in a wonderful way. And the way that I'm moving toward it is not just, God, it would be great if I could lift more weight. It's, I have to have all those processes together, and I have to know why they're together. So this metaphor that I'm imposing as a like frame over the idea of the plane engine, which I know that I am doing, and I understand that I am putting that frame over it. I think it's a powerful one if you look at it in that sense. And I think that the idea of it being a planes engine works really well because, again, it is something that moves forward in a controlled manner and ascends. And it also, as when one part goes out, the whole thing collapses and you crash, right? So there's there's something powerful about that metaphor to me because I have had parts fall out from under me and crashed more than a few times. In fact, I'd say that I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, but like my GPU went out on Monday, and that was enough to like come close to throwing me into a tailspin. And I think that if I didn't have all my other shit locked together, that could have absolutely thrown me into a total tailspin, right? Like I haven't had alcohol in weeks and weeks. I haven't been smoking cannabis for weeks and weeks, more than a month now. And I feel great with that. But I think that if I had any of that stuff around, that the stress of having my GPU go out and like not being able to work and like my whole business being up in the air for a moment, could have absolutely thrown me into a nosedive. But having all the other processes together meant that dropping that one out didn't completely imbalance me and didn't completely destroy me. So I don't know. It's something about resilience. It's something about getting your processes together and having all of the pieces aligned. Because in a sense, if you don't have them all aligned, and if you're just running on fumes in a way, which is kind of what Edamura Makoto is doing, then any turbulence, we might say, in the world, because turbulence is inevitable in your path forward in life, can absolutely throw you off course. And in a way, we could say that is exactly what happens over the course of this episode. Edamura Makoto is trying to build himself into somebody okay with being just the farmer, but he's not really stable in that mentality. And so as soon as the opportunity, the turbulence presented by meeting Laurent and Abby and all those people again comes up, he is in it and he's stuck. So I think that's pretty interesting in its own right. Okay. So the beauty of everything, the ability to throw off gravity's chains, to fly free, unbounded by anything, unbounded by the ground, free and unbound by everything. So that's something that's really interesting to me, because the idea of that complete freedom and that complete lack of obligation and responsibility flies directly in the face of all the things that make the workaday life that he's talking about worthwhile. Because that life is worthwhile because you use it to move toward the obligations and responsibilities that you hold. And I think that as you take upon yourself more obligations, the work becomes more valuable to you, right? And I think that the same goes in many different fields, but here in particular, there's this deep contrast between the desire to be utterly free of all of these things and the need to have something consistent and grounded, because Edamura Makoto has been working toward being more grounded. If we look at like case one, Edamura Makoto is free as a bird, baby. He's got no obligations. He can do whatever he wants. And how well does that go for him? Well, fairly well, but only because of the people around him. He gets roped into some bad situations because of his freewheeling mentality. And so there's an interesting contrast there, symbolically and metaphorically, that I think is cool. So, you want to work on an air race, kid? You're a great mechanic now. I believe in you. But not really. And he takes a sip of the thing, and he's fully not ready. Not ready for that, and not ready for this. And we cut back to Danny. So he throws all the money down. I love the moment where he bashes himself against the cage. It's just like, give me the money. Put the money on the girl. Do it. Do it. So, okie dokie. Cool. Sure. So let's go on to the script. Love Abby's little smile. And we wham, bam, boom, bam, bam. Ow, fuck. And of course she loses control completely. But does she? Or is it all part of the scam, right? It's to get his hopes back up again? I think so. She does fully tear her ear, so I don't know if that's part of the script completely. I think it is Abby just freaking out. Ow! Oh, that's gotta be illegal. It's gotta be full running knee to the grounded opponent. Wha-bam! Boom, boom, boom. Fuck. It must have been a foul. Okay, sir, sure. So he brings them in. There's an illegal fighting ring. Okie dokie, kiddo. Okay, sue me for sexual harassment. Let's go. Wonderful. Just a wonderful scam, really. And again, there's this sort of vicious mob mentality that is instilled in me that I am emblematic of right now because, man, I'd love to see that bad guy get it, right? Oh, yeah. That's some chimp stuff, right? That's some base level, not really thinking about either the legal or moral issues here. Just I see bad person, I want vengeance. And that's a pretty big thing in our society today, but we don't have time to get into the what do we call it? Mob mentality. Cancel culture, maybe, but not really. Just the desire for justice and the feeling combined with that desire that institutional systems of justice are failing the people is it's pretty interesting. And then throwing out the idea that cotton men are the real solution to that kind of stuff. Okay, sure. So we drive by. The sad lady gets a bunch of money, and Cynthia gives her all that money, and she drives off into the gorgeous sunset, I think. God, it's pretty. Just screaming to the wind, "Happy birthday, Chris." Wonderful in its own way. Of course, we turn around and we find that they are all here. Wait, I'm on your island. Oh, no! And we bring them in. This is the fish. This is the game. This is what we're playing. And they tell him that you can be just the mechanic. But of course, you're not actually a mechanic. You just need to pretend to be a mechanic. I love Abby forcing him to come up in the plane with her. And of course, Abby's whole mindset inside the plane is pretty crazy, but she's gunning it hard because she knows that it's going to explode, and that's part of the thing, and that's part of the whole goal, and it does. And what you are is actually a con man. You are not good enough yet, and you never will be, because what you are is actually a con man. Only ever a great pretender. Ooh, that's harsh, Laurent. Very harsh. But fair, but true. But he could be, right? Like, there's an element here of definite and significant manipulation going on, because I solidly get the feeling, now, some of this is just pulling the wool over Edamura's eyes and having the other mechanic be like, "Yeah, you're great at this, kid. You're the best." We don't know how much he believes that. We just don't know. But there's the impression, I get the impression, that given a couple of years, Edamura Makoto could be a stellar mechanic. He's a smart kid. He knows what he's doing. He can figure it out. And it's not his fault that the plane explodes, because they do that to him. So there's some significant manipulation going on here, especially here at the end, to pull the air out of his sails a little bit and go, nah, you're still stuck doing what you're doing. That's a little scummy from Laurent, I think. But Laurent is scum. He's the best kind of scum, which is fun scum. But he's still scum. Okay, and that's episode 6 of The Great Pretender. Episode 1 of Singapore Sky. We've had about an hour, a little bit more than an hour of discussion, so I'm comfortable calling it there for the day. Maybe we'll do the next part in 2 and 2 or something like that. But this was a pretty great episode, seeing a lot of my questions from the very beginning get answered. Where are these characters going to end up? How are they going to get together? Like, what's that whole deal going to be? And how has Edamura Makoto changed over this period of time? And the answer is pretty significantly. Again, he's gone from being this sort of freewheeling, very naive, but also very like resentful and having his whole like moral framework shattered by certain events, to somebody who has more of a grounding, but is still easily manipulated and he might be a great con in some ways, but he is also very easy to con in many others, and that's pretty interesting as a character. It does also leave open the door for Edamura Makoto to not know the entire scope and scale of the schemes that Laurent and the rest of the squad are going to put forth, because he's not good enough. He might not be in on all of it. And that's kind of interesting, because we can keep an element of that uncertainty in our main character that I think is valuable for the show's flow. Cool. There goes episode 6 of Great Pretender, episode 1 of Singapore Sky. I thought it was great. I thought it was a good old time to watch. It's still gorgeous. I didn't super hone in on any of the particular backgrounds. I didn't get a strong metaphorical feel for any of them in this one, but they're still gorgeous and really, really pretty and really unique. So I'm happy with that. The whole show still looks great. The CG elements that we saw, whether the bikes were CG or not, I'm still a little bit uncertain, but the plane looks good and the digital backgrounds look good as well. Whole thing looks excellent, and I'm excited to see some plane races and to see some, some conning go down in Singapore, which I guess we're probably going to go to next episode, maybe. Awesome. That's going to be a wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Great Pretender episode 6. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. If you got your own thoughts and comments and stuff, please don't spoil the rest of the arc. It's an arc. It's got lots of mystery to it, so that's the fun of the whole thing. Please don't spoil it. But if you've got your own comments or your own thoughts, please throw them in the comment section. Like it if you like it. Subscribe if you want more like this. And if you want to support the channel or just get the next week's episodes a little bit early, you can check them out on the Patreon down in the description. Love ya. See you next time. Peace.